Hello. I wanted to touch on the concept of good and evil and how this plays its part in our evolutionary process. So, what evil is ultimately just ignorance. It's the ignorance of truth, the ignorance of the true self. So, when a being is unrealized of their true nature, this is where these projections of evil acts and ideas are stemming from. So I want to just bring up specifically in the Bible, the King James Version. I'm not too familiar with the other versions, so I'm not going to speak on those. But even with these, like Old Testament gods and deities that are mentioned in here, they were basically just unevolved at the time. This has to do with the time periods and cycles of the universe that we go through. In Kali Yuga specifically, it was the age of darkness. But this is necessary in our evolution because we need that contrast in order to grow, in order to add depth to our experience, to our being. This is how we gain wisdom in order to evolve in our own individual process. So without this contrast, everything would be the same, basically. So it's really nothing to fear or be afraid of. It seems that most of, these perceived issues that we have and deal with in this world really are stemming from the fear of ignorance itself and a lack of understanding of what it really is. And it really is helpful to have acceptance with this concept in order to move forward in our own lives, in our own evolutionary journey. From a higher perspective, everything is one. Everything is really the same. We see how these opposing forces actually work together in tandem in order to provide us with this experience, an individual experience. Because if we didn't have this, we would all just already be self-realized, and there wouldn't really be an opportunity to add more depth to our own beings and experience. It's our purpose and drive and desire is all about expansion. So if we don't have this duality, then that's not really possible. So this just concept of evil at its core is just a necessary part of existence. And, the question comes in where, okay, what about the beings that, seem to be realized and still act from this nature? And that also comes from the fact that there needs to be a balance here. And we see this concept so prominently here in this dimension or on Earth, because this is a denser area. And so these ideas are going to naturally gravitate to this lower sort of plane of existence. So in order to evolve, all of these sort of rejected or unrealized parts of us need to be reintegrated so we don't continue to keep projecting them from a suppressed place. These are all suppressed in our subconscious that are projected externally, and that sort of imbalance is what creates this illusion of evil in the world. But it is all necessary. It provides us with a very enriching experience here and an opportunity to add so much depth to our own experience and journey. It allows us to really be able to understand these sort of lower aspects of ourselves that we evolve from in order to gain more power to us from a genuine, authentic place. Because once we are able to accept and integrate these parts of us, we see how much potential they really have for us and how useful it really is, because it gets transmuted into a lighter aspect, which is how we gain wisdom. So that's just sort of my 2 cents, I guess, on this topic, and I hope that this explanation maybe provides some people with some peace and acceptance, the ability to accept these rejected parts of self to be able to be reintegrated back into our beings and be transmuted into a more powerful version of ourselves and humanity. So yes, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Sat Nam, Namaste.